it's Venus Callida in a soaking and chill night. I know I've been owing you some tucking and chills, but lately I just need to be in the water. I just feel so much better. And I don't know if this is part of your bedtime routine or you just want to chillax with me. Get in a good hot tub and soak like I'm doing right now, or get under the cushy covers, snuggle in, gonna tuck in and chill. And I have found a public domain story for you. You know I am a fan of the Brothers Grimm, and I have found a tale to tell. Not this one. This one's mine. But let's get soaking. Get yourself comfy. Hello, Hero Flame. Such a wonderful night to see you. I had to stretch my tail under the stars tonight. We are caught in the worst blizzard ever. The sky is a very easy glow of this grayish yellow. You can't see anything. It's a pure whiteout out there. And those bitter, hard winds that you might be hearing behind me tonight, that is like Arctic winds. It is so hard to be in that cold air. I actually have a heater on tonight, and I am in my hot bathtub, and I am soaking, and I am relaxing, and I wanted to share a story with you because I owe you a few tuck-in and chills. So let's plump up this playlist. Here, are you ready for it? I've got a story to tell. It's about a fisherman and his wife. Thank you so much for the compliment. I have my shiny golden tail tonight. You know, girl's gotta have her gold. Hero, I hope where you're living, you're probably in a much more tropical climate, but probably dealing with those rains yourself. I hope they're not too cold out there. I hope they're just enough to feed all those beautiful fruit trees you've got. As for me, I've run out of water, so I am eating applesauce. So if you hear me munching away, that's what's going on this side. So I will raise my cup of applesauce, and I will eat for your health in mind. Applesauce is kind of a healthy snack, so I'm going to go with it. Yes, I have got my monitor kind of sitting on a towel on my closed toilet bowl. I closed the lid. It's not touching the toilet. And I am in the bath. And I just thought it would be fun to do because it is so cold that I actually have a heater on. And I rarely do that. I've got to get my internal temperatures up. So I'm splish-splashing around. No potato chips this time. It is actually, I'm just having applesauce right now. I just had some water. And here we go. The Fisherman and His Wife. There was once a fisherman who lived with his wife in a pigsty close by the seaside. The fisherman used to go out all day long a-fishing. One day he sat on the shore with his rod, looking at the sparkling waves and watching his line. All on a sudden, with his float was dragged away deep into the water, and in drawing it up, he pulled out a great fish. You know, Hero, you can't stop me. No one's here to stop me. I can do whatever I want. Now this fish, it could speak, and when it was hauled up by the fisherman, he said, "Pray, let me live. I'm not a real fish. I'm an enchanted prince. Put me in the water again and let me go." "Oh," said the man, "you need not make so many words about the matter. I will have nothing to do with a fish that can talk. So swim away, sir, as soon as you please." Then he put him back into the water, and the fish started straight down to the bottom and left a long streak of blood behind him on the wave. Thank you so much for the cherries. I love eating cherries. I like having cherries like Shirley Temples in my drink too. But today, definitely apples. Apples mixed with strawberries or raspberries are good too. Now, when the fisherman went home to his wife in the pigsty, he told her how he had caught a great fish, and how it had told him it was an enchanted prince, and how, on hearing it speak, he let it go again. "Did you not ask it for anything?" said the wife. "We live very wretchedly here in this nasty, dirty pigsty. Do go back and tell the fish we want a snug little cottage, all right? Go!" The fisherman did not much like this business. However, he went to the seashore. When he came back there, the water looked all yellow and green, and he stood on the water's edge and he said, "O man of the sea, hearken to me. My wife Isabel will have her own will, and hath sent me to beg a boon of thee." When the fish came swimming to him, he said, "Well, what is her will? What does your wife want?" "Ah," said the fisherman, "she says that when I had caught you I ought to have asked you for something before I let you go. She does not like living any longer in the pigsty and wants a snug little cottage." "Go home then," said the fish. "She's in the cottage already." So the man went home and saw his wife standing at the door of a nice trim little cottage. Come in, she said. "Is not this much better than the filthy pigsty we had?" And there was a parlor and a bedchamber and a kitchen, and behind the cottage there was a little garden planted with all sorts of flowers and fruits, and there was a courtyard behind full of ducks and chickens. "Ah," said the fisherman, "how happily we will live now." "We will try to do so at least," said the wife. "Good evening, Tisha Adams. I am here splish-splashing around in the warm waters of the tropics because Canada is just too cold at the moment." Now, speaking of the fisherman and his wife who have just been given the boon of this little cottage and garden, everything went right for a week or two, and then Dame Isabel said, "Husband, there's not near room enough for us in this cottage. The courtyard and the garden are a great deal too small. I should have to have a large stone castle to live in. Go to the fish again and tell him to give us a castle." "Wife," said the fisherman, "I don't like to go to him again, for perhaps he will be angry. We ought to be easy with this pretty cottage to live in." "Nonsense," said the wife. "He will do it very willingly, I know. Now go along and try." Oh, the fisherman went, but his heart was so very heavy. When he came to the sea, it looked blue and gloomy, though it was very calm. And he went close to the edge of the waves and said, "O men of the sea, hearken to me. My wife Isabel will have her own will, and hath sent me to beg a boon of thee." "Well, what does she want now?" said the fish. "Ah," said the man dolefully, "my wife wants to live in a stone castle." "Go home then," said the fish. "She's standing at the gate of it already." So away went the fisherman and found his wife standing before the gate of a great castle. "See," she said, "is not this grand?" With what they went into the castle together, and found a great many servants there, and the rooms all richly furnished, and full of golden chairs and tables. Behind the castle was a garden, and around it was a park 1/2 mile long, full of sheep and goats and hares and deer, and in the courtyard were stables and cow-houses. "Well," said the man, "now we will live cheerfully and happy in this beautiful castle for the rest of our lives." "Perhaps we may," said the wife, "but let us sleep upon it before we make up our minds to that." Oh. So they went to bed. The next morning, when Dame Isabel awoke, it was broad daylight, and she jogged the fisherman with her elbow. And she said, "Get up, husband, and bestir yourself, for we must be king of the land." "Wife, wife," said the man, "why should we wish to be the king? I will not be king." "Then I will," she said. "But wife," the fisherman said, "how can you be king? The fish cannot make you a king." "Husband," she said, "no, just say no more about it, but go and try. I will be king." So the man went away quite sorrowful to think that his wife should want to be a king. This time the sea looked dark gray color and was overspread with curling waves and the ridges of foam. Then he cried out, "Oh, man of the sea, hearken to me. My wife Isabel, have her own will, and hath sent me to beg a boon of thee." "Oh, what would she have now?" said the fish. "Alas," said the poor man, My wife wants to be king. Go home, said the fish. She's king already. Then the fisherman went home, and as he came close to the palace, he saw a troop of soldiers and heard the sound of drums and trumpets. When he went in, he saw his wife sitting on a throne of gold and diamonds, with a golden crown upon her head. And on each side of her stood 6 fair maidens, each a head taller than the other. Well, wife, said the fisherman, are you king? Yes, she said, I'm king. And when he had looked at her for a long time, he said, wife, what a fine thing it is to be a king. Now we shall never have anything more to wish for as long as we live. I don't know how that may be, she said. Never is a long time. I am king, it is true, but I begin to be tired of that, and I think I should like to be emperor. Alas, wife, why should you wish to be emperor? Said the fisherman. Husband, she said, go to the fish. I say I will be emperor. Oh, wife, replied the fisherman, the fish cannot make an emperor, I'm sure, and I should not like to ask him for such a thing. I am king, said Isabel, and you are my slave, so go at once. Oh. So the fisherman was forced to go, and he muttered as he went along, this will come to no good. It is too much to ask. The fish will be tired at last, and then we shall be sorry for what we've done. He soon came to the seashore, and the water was quite black and muddy, and a mighty whirlwind blew over the waves and rolled them about. But he went as near as he could to the water's brink, and he said, O man of the sea, hearken to me. My wife Isabel will have her own will. Oh, my goodness. And hath sent me to beg a boon of thee. What would she have now? Said the fish. Said the fisherman, if she wants to be emperor, go home, said the fish. She's emperor already. So he went home again, and as he came near, he saw his wife Isabel sitting on a very lofty throne made of solid gold, and a great crown on her head full 2 yards high, and on each side of her stood her guards and attendants in a row, each one smaller than the other, from the tallest giant down to the little dwarf no bigger than my finger. And before her stood princes and dukes and earls, and the fisherman went up to her and said, Wife, are you emperor? Yes, she said, I am emperor. Said the man, and he gazed upon her. What a fine thing it is to be an emperor. Husband, she said, why should we stop at being emperor? I will be pope next. Oh, wife, no, he said. How can you be pope? There's but one pope at a time in Christendom. Husband, she said, I will be pope this very day. But, replied the husband, the fish cannot make you pope. Oh, what nonsense, she said. If he can make me an emperor, he can make me a pope. Go and try him. So the fisherman was forced to go. And so the fisherman went. When he came to the shore, the wind was raging, and the sea was tossed up and down in a boiling waves, and the ships were in trouble, and rolled fearfully upon the tops of the billows. And in the middle of the heavens there was a little piece of the blue sky, but towards the south all was red, as if in a dreadful storm was rising. And at the sight of this the fisherman was dreadfully frightened, and he trembled so that his knees knocked together. But still he went down near the shore, and he did ask, O man of the sea, hearken to me. My wife Isabel will have her own will, and has sent me to beg a boon of thee. What does she want now? Said the fish. And my wife wants to be pope. Go home, said the fish. She's pope already. Then the fisherman went home, and he found Isabel sitting on a throne that was 2 miles high, and she had 3 great crowns on her head, and around her stood all the pomp and all of the power of the church, and on each side of her were 2 rows of burning lights. of all sizes, and the greatest as large as the highest and the biggest tower in the world, and the least no larger than a small rushlight. "Wife," said the fisherman, as he looked at all of this greatness, "are you Pope?" "Yes," she said, "I am Pope." "Well, wife," replied he, "it is a grand thing to be Pope, and now you must be easy, for you can be nothing greater." "I will think about that," said the wife. Then they went to bed. But Dame Isabel could not sleep all night for thinking that she should be next. At last, as she was dropping asleep, morning broke and the sun rose. "Ha!" thought she, as she woke up and looked at it through the window. "After all, I cannot prevent the sun from rising." At this thought she was very angry and wakened her husband, and she said, "Husband, go to the fish and tell him I must be lord of the sun and moon." The fisherman was half asleep, but the thought frightened him so much that he started and he fell out of bed. "Alas, wife," he said, "you cannot just be easy with being Pope." "No," she said, "I am very uneasy as long as the sun and moon rise without my leave. Go to the fish at once." Oh, then the man went shivering with fear, and as he was going down to the shore a dreadful storm arose, so that the trees and the very rocks shook, and all the heavens became black with stormy clouds, and the lightning played, and the thunders rolled, and you might have seen in the sea great black waves swelling up like mountains and crowns of white foam upon their heads, and the fisherman crept towards the sea, and he cried out as well as he could, "Oh, man of the sea, hearken to me! Ah, man, my wife Isabel will have her own will, and hath set me to beg a boon of thee." "What does she want now?" said the fish. He said, "she wants to be lord of the sun and moon." "Go home," said the fish, "to your pigsty again." And there they live to this very day. Doom, 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 splish, splash, taking a bath. Hope you're taking a nice warm bath too, everybody. I know if you are in the northern hemisphere right now, you are under a certain Arctic storm where the night sky is glowing a gray yellow. It's a perfect whiteout. It's so strange to see, but it's harder to stand in it. I went out there, I tried to test it out, and oh, it just bit my skin. The cold, so cold that it feels like you're being stung with like a heat, but really that's cryo, instant freezer burn, death for your skin cells. So stay warm, everybody, and if you can, stay off the roads. It is really a whiteout out there. So stay warm, stay inside. Even more important than being waterproof is to be windproof right now. So windbreakers will be a blessing to anyone having to go out there. A balaclava is not enough. You need that windbreaker hoodie over your face. It's gonna hurt. Well, I feel really great about this story. I find it very interesting, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I'm going to look for more seaside stories. I know Hero Flame loves the stories by water, and maybe you found this interesting too. That is it for tonight. That is our soaking and chill for our tucking and chill evening. And I'm wishing you all the very best. I do not have water with me right now, but I do have applesauce, so I'm lifting my spoon of a healthy snack, unsweetened, and I'm going to eat it to your health and mine. Chin chin. And if you're hearing those sounds behind me, that is the wind beating on my windows. All right, everyone. Stay safe, stay playful, and I'll see you next time. This is Venus Callida, signing off. Splish splash, I'm taking a bath.